record on the computer. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Oh, there it says we are live. That's what it says.
Yay. We are
Yay.
live.
Okay, I just want to do the thing. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's the feedback.
There's the thing. It's not.
I'm pinching. I'm alive. Are you alive?
And guess what today is?
What is today?
Today is episode number 64.
Whoa.
What?
That's like starting all over. That's a 10.
That's yeah, and it's Friday. It's Friday the 13th. So that might be kind of interesting. So what?
Well, and we have an eclipse this weekend.
Yeah, and we have a full moon on Monday.
Okay. I noticed how big the moon was.
Hold
right?
on to your britches. Like, what the Halloween is gonna happen?
Well,
but
you know,
yeah.
the moon affects us, whether we want to admit it or not. If it can affect the tides of the oceans, consider the amount of water in the ocean and how much the moon can affect those tides. You think it's not going to affect little old us?
Well, you know, we are 70% water, and the rest carbon or something. I don't know.
So
good morning, Paula.
Oh, hey, Paula. Good morning.
Join us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
So before I go on a tangent, we are Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl, and this is our Feng Shui Friday, where we just offer some insight into Feng Shui with the personal paradise card deck from Tarot Catherine Collins. Cheryl is shuffling, and whatever topic, whatever card flies out of the deck, then that's what we talk about today.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Friday the 13th. So I'd be really interested to know, to all our listeners, viewers, you want to, you know, type in the comments, whether you're joining us live or watching the replay. What does Friday the 13th, what is it for you? Because for some people, you know, they're really superstitious and like, and they think it's a bad luck day. And other people like myself, I go, hey, Friday the 13th is great. I love it. It's good luck. Everything, you know, is kind of going my way.
It's a Friday and it's got my house number in it. Which is fascinating. Superstition. I wonder how much of that was based out of control.
Oh, 100%.
Right? It's like, how much have we learned recently, even in our interview with our dear, amazing Texican friend. Exactly. That growing up in Mexico, her parents lovingly referred to her as a witch, and a witch is about wisdom and the wisdom keepers. Right? That's not what I grew up with.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the witch and for her meant something different than the witchiness in us, you know, up here.
Well, even to this day, we have our dear friend out in Rimby, Ms. Sandra, right? Yeah. And their store, and they've been doing some amazing work out there. And yet they get a bad rap because the word witch is part of their like the World Wide Web has opened up a lot, people.
Yep.
It's a word. Do some research and then ask yourself, whose belief is that anyway? Because I know where some of mine came from.
Well, and you know, when was it now? I'm not going to try and figure out the year, but a few years back, my sister and I went to Salem, and Salem is in, it's just outside of Peabody. Is that in Connecticut? Or anyways. So yeah, we went to Salem, and that, you know, you've heard of the Salem witch hunt and all that. The whole town, you know, has this witchy theme around it, right?
Right.
And it was really interesting. You know, we spent we spent one whole afternoon there, and it was really insightful. But yeah, a lot of people got burned at the stake or hung or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I know in my past lifetimes, I've had a few of those things happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking we all were. If you're listening to this, you were part of the witch hunt. And
probably. Anyway, back to the Friday the 13th. It didn't even dawn on me today that was Friday the 13th. And I don't concern myself with that, but it's a Friday and it's a number, which 1 and 3 equals 4, my favorite number.
So anyways, it'd be interesting to see in the comments what other people think. Right?
Yeah.
What's Friday the 13th for you? Is it a good belief? Is it a not, you know, and then where did that belief come from? Whose is it? Is it yours? And are you ready to let go of it?
Yeah. All about emotions and what's behind it all. So just to back up a second, Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl. That is my lovely partner, Anita. And I would be the Cheryl of Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl. Woo-hoo. So good morning. I was, before we come online, I was telling Anita a little story of how quickly, and it's just another example. People have noticed recently, I'd say in the last 3 or 4 years, it's our power of manifestation has speeded up. Very much, very much. So as I'm getting ready this morning, I'm in the bathroom and, you know, drying off and stuff, and thought, I need to wash the towels, but don't have time right at the moment. So I hung the towels up. So I come in my office and I get my light set up. And as I set up one light, I knock over my bottle of water. So it's all over my desk, all over my chair, all over the floor. So I run into the bathroom to grab the aforementioned towels that need to be washed, bring them in and use that for mopping up. Well, they definitely are getting washed today. It was like, how quickly can we manifest? But the coolest part about this story is, of course, the water leaked into my desk and into my drawer. And in my drawer, I've got all my paperwork. So all of it comes out. I've got a little tray that holds it. And underneath it, tucked at the very back, was this little beautiful card that my friend and business partner, Anita, had created that says friends, which is so sweet. And then I'm chuckling to myself because the card that flew out is affirmational belongings. And it is number 13.
Oh, wow.
So that's spirit, how quickly we're manifesting. And the other card that flew out is number 19. I'm not sure you're ready for this one. Feelings. But what's popped into my head since I saw the card are not necessarily our physical ceilings, but the ceilings that we create around how far or how high we can raise our vibration, our self-imposed ceilings.
I like it.
Which actually really, really talks well with affirmational belongings, because many thought leaders talk about affirmations to raise or break those self-imposed ceilings. So this could be interesting today.
And you know, that is really cool, because you know, that's about your self-talk, right? So like you say, a lot of the thought leaders are talking about affirmations and setting your intentions and speaking, you know, speaking what it is you want to manifest. And you're talking about manifesting. And so great, you can do all of those things, but if it physically in your home, if you still have belongings that are affirming a belief or reinforcing some kind of behavior, then you know what, you're not going to be manifesting as quickly. And so, you know, that kind of brings to mind something that I have in my home. And actually I was looking at it last week and thinking, do I really still need that in my home? And growing up in a, you know, strict Catholic family, we always had a crucifix over the doorway. Did you have that?
I don't know if they were specifically over the doorway, but there was many Christian symbols like the Last Supper, crucifixes.
Yeah, right. And so
Palm Sunday,
affirmational belongings, right?
Yeah.
So that's an example. And so anyways, I have a crucifix over the door that comes from our garage into our house.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I hung it there, I think when we moved into this house, because that's what we did, right? It's like a way of a blessing, protect your house,
Mm-hmm.
you know, be no different than maybe a food dog or, you know, one of those lion things at your front door to ward off the evil spirit so they don't enter your home.
Right.
Something like that. But yeah, anyways, and so I actually just was, you know, last week I kind of noticed it and I was like, do I even really want that there anymore? Do I believe that that's true for me? And you know what? I think I'm going to probably take it down today because it's not my belief anymore.
Well, and what is it reinforcing?
Yeah.
So for someone who actually comes into a home and is not familiar with Christianity at all, my opinion only, we are celebrating someone who has been nailed to a cross and left to die. That's not very pleasant.
Kind of morbid, isn't it?
It is. It is. Instead of celebrating the work he did about spreading love.
Yeah.
And infinite love.
On the other,
we're focusing on the crucifying someone.
Yeah. On the ugly stuff.
Yeah. Because what he believed and what he taught didn't agree with the people in power. Think about that.
There's another witch hunt.
Right?
Okay. Oh, yeah, we could go down a rabbit hole.
But we won't.
Let's not go
but
there.
That is a great example of an affirmational belonging, because it's not even an obvious affirmational belonging. Like you said, it was, well, that's what we grew up doing. That's like cutting the two ends. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of the daughter who, you know, well, she went to mom and said, Mom, why do we cut the ends off the ham before we put them in the roaster? And the mom said, I don't know. Ask grandma. Grandma, why do we cut the ends off the ham before we put it in the roaster? I don't know. Ask great grandma. Great grandma, why did we cut the ends off the ham before we put it in the roaster? I did that because my roaster wasn't big enough. But it was passed down and no one ever explained why. Yeah.
Yeah, they just did it because grandma did it. Yeah,
exactly.
And so what kind of affirmational belonging do you have in your home? Or maybe in your office?
I have a few affirmation. Actually, a lot of my office is affirmation because I like to surround myself with the things that have meaning to me. And one of my closest and one of my favorites is my inspiring, because I want to be inspiring.
I have one of those.
I know you do.
I have more than one. But
well, so do I, but I have less than I started with. I like it.
I'm sure you do. Yeah, no, I still have lots.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. I know where to go.
Yeah, if you need more, or if you want one.
I know where to get them. Miss Kate.
Rings. Yeah.
Yes. So that's an affirmation for me.
Yeah.
Right here on the side of my desk. Excuse me. I have a little sticky note that is a reminder from something that Lee Carroll had channeled when he was channeling with Cryon a few weeks ago. Why we want most things is because we want the feeling of being free. So a little affirmation: I am free, I am free, I am free. Let go of who I think I'm supposed to be. And where did that come from?
Yeah, so you know what, maybe today you, with your Feng Shui eyes, you look around your home and see what belongings are affirming a belief or a behavior, and then ask yourself consciously, is that something that you still want to affirm? And yeah, and go from there.
Exactly.
Or you know what? The other thing too might be that if you are doing some new affirmations, you know, with whatever, and like you just said, Cheryl, around freedom, maybe then maybe you bring something new in that symbolizes to you that freedom, and that maybe you see that symbol in your kitchen or your bathroom or your bedroom or something. So then again, it reaffirms that new affirmation that you were trying to, you know, program into your subconscious mind.
Right.
And then having it in another area of your home is just going to keep reinforcing that idea, right? So you can do it either way. You know, what do I already have that's affirming a belief and or subconscious program? And then, or, you know, what would I like to reaffirm?
And really, when you think about it, since you asked me that question, I'm looking around my space. Everything in here is an affirmation. Literally everything, from the tapestry that I have that hangs over my closet, that I see more, that's in the prime real estate space. But it is the root system, the anchoring, the connection to heaven and earth. Like that image in itself has a lot of affirmation in it.
100%.
So if we start looking at our possessions as affirmations, what are the affirmations that they're constantly repeating to your subconscious mind?
Right.
Because it's that subliminal programming, right?
And that brings us, you know, that brings us to the ceilings, right? And that's what you were talking about elevating our frequency, and, you know, the ceiling is the limit, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And we have that in our, you know, physical homes, that we have our ceilings as a form of protection. And our beliefs can be a form of protection as well. Don't get me wrong, but we also have self-imposed ceilings.
Yeah.
And we have societal imposed ceilings. And we have cultural imposed ceilings. Generations when I grew up, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, you'll make somebody a good wife someday.
Yeah. The ceiling is the limit.
Yeah. 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 That didn't go so well for me.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people that I grew up with still live in our same hometown. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's, I mean, they're adults, it's completely their choice where they want to live. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. So don't take that the wrong way. But did their belief system keep them there?
Yeah.
Is the question.
So let's talk about, you know, actual physical ceilings.
Yes.
Because that is important.
It is.
In Feng Shui.
Especially in our culture now.
And I do know, you know, working with clients, selling homes and things like that, you know, it's interesting how when there is a higher ceiling, if people are going, you know, like, for example, a foyer that has a big vaulted high ceiling, they go, oh, wow. Or you look at some of those home shows on TV and stuff, you know, and they always comment on the ceiling in the foyer, and they go, oh, I love this grand ceiling. It just, and it makes it look so spacious and all of that. But what happens, you know, that's our first impression, but over time, you know, that repeated action over time, that too much space up here makes us feel out of balance. And so those rooms that have those grandiose ceilings, that, you know, at first impression can feel expansive. You
Yeah.
can feel, free as a bird, that kind of thing. But to sustain, right? This is the important part. Sustaining that feeling or sustaining that same energetic vibe for an extended period of time, it's too much, right? It's too much. And we need to get back to being grounded.
Yes.
Right. And that feeling of being anchored. So I quite often see it where, people have built these homes and, they have these vaulted ceilings in the living room.
And nobody's in there.
And a lower ceiling in the kitchen. And then you ask them, you say, do you spend any time in the living room? Nope, they don't. Nope. Because nobody feels comfortable. Nobody feels safe and comfortable when there's too much expansiveness. Yeah.
Exactly.
But luckily for
what would we do with a client that has that kind? What would our recommendations be?
We just had a client, right? That exact thing happened. And so what we suggested was creating a line between heaven and earth, so that there is that feeling of separation, or that feeling of bringing the energy down. And so doing that, you can easily do that from the top of the window trim, and just say, because I think for most people, we feel comfortable in that 8 to 10 foot height.
Right.
Range.
Yeah. So, and that's a good point right there, not to interrupt you. Well, but to interrupt you, when we're talking about these open ceilings, we're talking higher than a 10-foot ceiling.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. And so then, if you have that, then you want to create some kind of visual line, and it's not necessarily drawing a line around it.
No.
But if you're hanging pictures on the wall, hang the pictures below the 10-foot line, so that you're not always looking up. That's the thing. People think, oh, okay, I have a 20-foot wall here.
I need to hang it halfway.
I'm going to hang something up there at 12 feet. Well, no, because then your eye is constantly going way up.
Yep.
And you're not grounded, and it's just not a good feeling. So you can certainly do that. You can do that with paint.
Curtain rods.
Curtain rods. Yeah. You can do that with color, bringing in the 5 elements, so that we're bringing some of that earth energy. Earth energy is grounding, brings it down. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of things we can do, and of course it's individual, right?
Absolutely.
It depends on the homeowner, how they live, what kind of possessions they have, and the suggestions are always specific to the client.
Exactly, because Feng Shui is not cookie cutter.
No.
And that's one of the reasons Anita and I love working with our clients one-on-one. It's a very personal journey.
Intimate.
Yeah. Absolutely, because you're inviting us into your personal space or business, which is still a personal space. And the needs are different for every family, for every home dweller. And sometimes people want to sell a home. And so every situation is different.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I just had the thought too about ceilings, the sky's the limit. And that's another maybe Feng Shui tip. So whatever you're hanging, in that higher space, because people do want to, do that, make sure that it belongs to the heavens, right?
Yeah, it's not a fish.
Not a fish. Like my sister, she had vaulted ceilings, and she had this little shelfie thing, and she put all these dolphins and all this kind of stuff. And I go, they don't belong in the heavens. They belong in the sea, right? So anyways, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Did we have any comments or questions we need to address?
No, just, what? Thanks for the insight. Great conversation. Woohoo. Thank you.
Yay. Yeah. Well, send us some love, show us some hearts, share the message. And really check out some of our YouTube videos. We have quite a number of really amazing interviews on our Flock, FLAWC, which is our playlist. And of course, the YouTube channel is also Feng Shui with Anita and Cheryl. We need to talk about the numbers yet, young lady.
And what about skylights? Oh, skylights are perfect.
Yeah.
You know, because skylights, they let in, obviously, the light.
The light.
Right?
They sure help.
But, you know, just like anything else, you want to make sure when we're talking skylights, they're like windows. You want to be able to see out
clearly.
You want to make sure that they're in good repair. And I know that, you know, it's not convenient to clean them. However, you might want to make that effort to clean them once a year at least, you know, inside and out, because you want that light, you know, sky light. Right? That the purpose of them is to be able to see the sky, connect you to the heavens and the earth, have some additional light coming in.
Well, and speaking of lighting in general, some of the beautiful crystal chandeliers, or some of the higher lighting fixtures, and you look up and you see dead flies in them. Yeah, not so good. Yeah. So as with anything, maintenance, cleaning, care speaks volumes. That in and of itself is affirmation.
Absolutely.
It's affirming.
How you respect, care for, and value anything is how you respect, care for, and value everything.
Including.
Okay, numbers. We have number 13 and number 19, which is a total of 32, which is a 5.
5, yeah. So I went, when you saw me step away, it was because I had forgotten to grab my double digitology book. So you go first, what you usually say, and then I'm going to say what Adironda has to say.
Well, you know, 5 is that change. And so obviously we've got, like you say, eclipse, full moon, time to release, let go, make a change, shift something. And of course, today we are talking about the affirmational belonging. So, you know, that falls in line with that.
100%.
About what can you change or shift in your physical environment that is then going to shift in your inner environment.
Yeah, your energy. So Adironda talks about the shape of the numbers, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the book. The 5 is a number that in its physical structure is balanced, yet it is poised for movement or action. It is ready and can roll around. She always has bullet points of what it represents. And what I thought was most appropriate for today, shocking how it all works, goes hand in hand. A search for harmony and balance, a move in a totally new direction, almost a pivot to an opposite path, is seeking balance between the physical and the spiritual world. We were just talking about ceilings. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. By itself, the 5 is about change, but it seems to stand out a bit stronger as a focus on sensuality and sexuality. Cool. So before we got started, Anita and I were talking a little bit because, you know, we're going to do another live coming from a garden center near you soon, near us soon. And excuse me. One of the things that I can remember growing up talking about, and don't quote me on this because I don't know all the details, so we'll get reverbaged on that, was planting root crops at a specific time and your seeds at a specific time. What I'm curious, if anybody is familiar or knows someone who is familiar, is what you know about eclipses and their effect on planting, because we do have an eclipse coming up this weekend. In the area where we grew up, where we live in central Alberta, typically we don't plant much, especially the tender annuals, outdoors until May long weekend, which is a week from now.
Mhm.
But I'm curious what you know of or what has been shared with you, if anything, about eclipses and planting your garden.
Mhm. Yeah, and then you know what? We can follow up with that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, well, we're at the top of the hour, so happy
figure.
Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
and may you be blessed and prosper.
Absolutely. Send us some love. Share with some friends. Say hi if you can. We'd love your comments. Bye all.